on his way. Devil is on his way. Devil is on his way, motherfucker. The devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Fall to your knees. Devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Motherfucker, he's on his...
Mountain Murders is an Appalachian true crime podcast. Listener discretion is advised. The show contains graphic language and depictions of violence. It may not be suitable for all audiences.
We say fuck a lot. Hey guys, welcome back to Mountain Murders.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
How's it going, Dylan? Have you had a good week?
Man, I feel great.
You do?
Yeah, I really do.
You're energized?
Just really excited to be here.
You missed our Mountain Murders listeners?
I have. I do.
We have missed you guys. I'm
Yes.
glad we're back with a brand new case. Hopefully you checked out the Sheila LaBar episode 81.
Oh my God, what a crazy story.
Had a couple of people reach out about that story and say, one, how did I not know about this? And two, that woman is insane.
That's what I said the same thing.
Exactly.
And I will say, I will apologize when you do listen to that. If you haven't, I say crazy, call her a crazy woman a million times. I mean, no offense to anyone dealing with mental illness, but that bitch was crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I don't. When I say crazy like that, I don't mean people who are dealing with, I just mean in crazy monsters.
Okay.
So, sorry about that.
That reminds me, the other night, my son, he's 12, and I were watching Indiana Jones. I believe it was the Temple of Doom.
Oh man, it's a classic.
And the Kate Capshaw character continues to scream throughout the film. It's a snake, it's a spider.
Yeah.
She's just frantic. And my son looks at me and he goes, "That woman is crazy." And I said, "Why do you think she's crazy?" And he goes, "She just keeps freaking out and screaming." And he's just going on and on about her attitude or her behavior or whatever. And I said, "Zane, you're going to have to get used to that.
Yeah.
You're going to encounter a lot of that in your adult life."
That's just women. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'd like to freak out. So deal with it. I'm
Wow.
surprised he's not used to it. I mean, he lives in the house with me.
Well, I'm saying that was some pretty extreme situations she was being put in.
But it makes me think of you, Dylan. So you can't
Okay.
just be talking about people being crazy, because now Zane thinks everyone is crazy when they're freaking out.
Well, don't bring bugs and snakes around me and I'll be fine.
Okay. Quarantine's starting to get to me a little bit.
Yeah, I've noticed.
We've talked about, we were going to try to keep that off the show and not really mention it, because we know everybody has been dealing with it, stressing out, and it's everywhere constantly 24/7.
It is.
It's starting to get to me.
But yeah, just stuck in the house, Groundhog Day, same thing over and over.
These kids looking at me all the time.
Online schooling on top of
Oh,
kids
God, that's
being
so
stuck
stressful.
in the house.
We should get paid a stipend for teaching our kids,
I think so.
because it's hard.
It is.
Not all kids are designed to sit down at a computer and just make it through the schoolwork with ease.
Well, and maybe it can make us remember the teachers and the hard job they do all
Well,
the time.
I know they have a hard job.
Because how the hell they do that with a classroom full
Could
of
never
people?
do this. It takes a skill.
Oh my
My
God.
mom was a teacher, and I believe it was a gift,
Yeah,
because I would always say I could never do what you do.
right.
26 snotty 7-year-olds staring at you all day.
Yeah, I know. I see, I would keep it together the first day through about lunch, and at some point I just be like, then kick some bricks, dude. I don't know what the fuck to tell you, man.
Yeah,
Do
no.
something.
So that's basically why I've just been high
Right.
for the last couple weeks.
I'm not wired to be a cop or a teacher. These things
Not
I know.
either. I'm very impatient.
Yes. I get excitable, and I don't know how many times they let you go out and smoke during the classroom.
You don't know about that.
Yeah, so that's not going to work.
Oh, we have a great episode we've uploaded to our Mountain Murders Patreon. If you want to become a patron, you can sign up for as low as $1, but $3 is going to get you access to extra bonus content.
Yes, and if you come in at our highest tier there, at $10, you get Heather's extra podcast she does by herself.
It's true.
You've been putting a lot of stuff over there.
I haven't had a chance to put a lot out this past week because kids and everything that's going on.
Like, I know this
But
is your future,
typically,
kids.
I will upload 2 or 3 extra episodes as well as what Dylan and I throw together.
Yeah, she drags me along by the nose, but like, I know it's your future, kids, but can I just leave me alone and let me podcast?
Look, Mommy just needs to drink this vodka and you need to fuck off, okay? For just a couple hours.
Why are you still here?
Yeah, I didn't know when I had birthed you, I had to see you all the time.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
I don't like your face.
Yeah, so here's a tip. You can just keep dropping your kid off at school like it's normal, everything's normal, and coming back at 3 and see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet they'd appreciate that.
I know, right?
Because the teachers, I bet somebody is sneaking wine bladders in their purse into the damn school. Let's be honest.
Oh, they're not even at the school now.
They're not?
The teachers aren't there.
Oh, okay, there for a minute they were. I know there was some day drinking going on.
They're all at home.
Okay.
Are you ready for today's case?
Yes, let's
This week's
dive.
case
This is a big one.
It's very exciting and a little something out of the ordinary, but everyone has heard of this famous blood feud betwixt the Hatfields and McCoys.
We have to talk about it here
Yeah.
on Mountain Murders.
Yeah, you can't talk about Appalachian true crime without at some point discussing the Hatfields and McCoys.
Yes, because there's a lot of murdering going on between them two.
Mere mention of their names evokes folklore, visions of lawless and unrelenting family feud, names so famous they're now part of the American lexicon. You might think of gun-toting vigilantes hell-bent on defending their kinfolk, igniting bitter grudges that would span generations. Yet many people familiar with these surnames may know little about the fated history of these two families and the legends they inspired. So who were the Hatfields and McCoys, and how did they become some of the most famous folks in Appalachia?
Yeah, I think it'd be hard-pressed to find someone who hasn't heard the names, right? But then when I think about it, I don't know the ins and outs or all the details. It's just kind of, the family feuded, they live in the mountains, it went on for years and years and years. I mean, that's what you get out of it. So yeah, I find this, I'm finding this interesting already.
It's believed that both families came to America before it was even America. The Hatfields were among the first pioneers to make their way into this new land from the shores of Yorkshire in northern England. The first Hatfield was named Matthias Heathfield, and he settled in New Haven, Connecticut around 1660. I will get that out eventually. But he changed the family's surname to Hatfield from Heathfield.
Oh, I wonder why he didn't like that. Easier to say, maybe?
The McCoys came from Scotland, but would move to Ireland before coming to the New World. The first known McCoy in America was John McCoy, who moved there with his wife and maybe his two brothers in 1732 by way of Belfast, Ireland. With a 100-acre land grant in hand, John and whatever family he was with settled in Charles County, Maryland. He died in 1760 as a very prominent landowner.
I wonder what the hell my ancestors did with their land. I know they got a chunk back then when you could just go out and stake off four corners. What the hell what did they do with the land we had? Sorry.
Well, I know what happened to the land we had.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it got sold off.
Well, the Hyattsville, Maryland.
Yeah.
Is my family's land, and then of course there's land here in North Carolina.
I must have come off some real trash.
Maybe. I don't know. I just did my Ancestry.com during the start of this whole quarantine.
Yes.
And it was really interesting. And I tried to do yours, but yeah, it just sort of stopped.
It just stops.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I derailed the hell out of your story. I apologize. But I do that, and I apologize. But yeah, where the hell's my land?
I don't know, Dylan.
Somebody email me. Let me know.
Somebody give him 40 acres. The first Hatfields moved to the Tug Valley region, which is where the historic feud is going to take place. And that was Ephraim Hatfield and his second wife, Anne Musick, along with their 10 children in or around 1820. They came from southwestern Virginia looking for open land to settle and farm on. Now, his nickname was F of All, due to the fact that every Hatfield in the region would be descended from him.
Oh, I did find that the Tug Valley was founded by a notorious madam.
Oh,
Did
yeah?
you know? Yeah. That's why it's known as the Tug Valley. Hello. Coming
Was that
home.
a joke, or were you being serious?
That was a joke. It was funny.
So stupid. His son Valentine was already grown by then and produced his own child, one of which was named after his father, but given the nickname Big F due to his 6'4" frame, and he was about 240 pounds. So he's a big guy.
That's a big dude right there.
Big F's son would be William Hatfield, otherwise known as Devil Anse, and he's going to be the main character in our saga.
So he's at the center of it all, huh?
He's the big man. The Hatfields' well-known patriarch, William Anderson Hatfield, again earns the nickname Devil Anse, becomes known as a backwoods, rough mountain dweller. By the 1870s, Devil Anse was running a successful timber business who employed dozens of men, including some of the McCoys.
Well, I'd say timber was huge in this area then. Probably one of the main businesses.
The Hatfields were considered wealthy. Anse grew up in Logan County, West Virginia, and he was born in around 1839. William McCoy, son of John, moved with his 12 kids and wife to the Tug Valley region around 1802 to 1804, and as the children got older, they began to populate both sides of the river on the Kentucky and West Virginia sides. Now, his granddaughter was Sally McCoy, and she was going to end up marrying her cousin, the son of her great-uncle, Randall McCoy, or Randolph McCoy. His name has been reported both ways.
Oh, yeah. I guess it could go either way. But, that happened a lot, like you've mentioned before, as far as marrying your cousin or, it's not a densely populated area by any means. And if there's only 2 or 3, 4 families around for 30 miles or whatever, who else, who are you going to interact with?
You're going to be feuding and fighting and fucking your cousin.
Well, it's true. It happens. I'd say it happened all over America.
Randolph, or Randall, as some people call him, his nickname is Old Randall McCoy, owned some land, about 300 acres, and some livestock. Now, the McCoys were not as wealthy as the Hatfields and were considered more on the lower middle class end of the social spectrum at that time. Both families lived along the Tug Fork of the Big Sandy River, which lies along the boundary between Kentucky and West Virginia. Being neighbors from such a rural area, both families had very complex relationships and social networks. Family loyalty was often determined not only by blood, but sometimes by employment and proximity. The families even intermarried and sometimes switched family loyalties even once the feud had started, which we'll go into here in a few minutes.
Wow, that's got to complicate the whole thing, I would think.
The first major blow in the feud came around 1865 with the murder of old Randall's brother, Asa Harmon McCoy. And this was by the Logan Wildcats. They were a local militia group that counted Devil Anse and some other Hatfields as members. Many people, even members of his own family, regarded Asa Harmon kind of as a traitor. Now, he had served in the Union Army during the Civil War. And the majority of folks in this area served as Confederates or had loyalty to the Confederate Army.
Yeah, I guess he's not going to be a popular guy when he comes back home.
His murder came 13 days after he was released from the Union Army. So less than 2 weeks, the guy's home, dead.
Yeah, and I bet people were talking about it before he even got killed.
Most members of the Hatfield and McCoy families served for the Confederacy, as I mentioned before. Now, Asa had been wounded in the war before returning back to his home area. He was ambushed and killed. No official records or arrests have ever been issued in his murder. Devil Anse was initially considered the first suspect in the killing, but he had an alibi. At the time that Asa was murdered, Anse was home. He had been sick. However, his uncle Jim Vance was later believed to be the real killer.
Oh, so it really wasn't him?
It wasn't Devil Anse, but It was his uncle. He was never charged, and Asa's death certificate simply noted, killed by rebels.
Wow, that's a cause of death? That's awesome.
For many area folks, a Yankee sympathizer would not be missed.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there was plenty of people who felt betrayed by him serving for the North, the Union. But, I mean, it's no one's right to them kill him for, obviously.
If a murder wasn't enough to divide these two families, the relationship continued to sour over the course of the next 13 years.
So I wonder, in that time, I guess there would be children born that were both Hatfield and McCoy.
Right.
And I wonder how, it'd probably be interesting to know how the relationships and loyalties washed out with these, this next generation of kids. That's very weird.
What was seemingly a small incident would spark a war, an American war as we know it.
That's crazy.
The bloodshed would be the result of a dispute over a hog.
Now, see, I have always heard that tied to this story, that it, started over a hog, and I think